I think it goes without saying that the stock is a pretty essential part to our airsoft gun. Outside of it being a battery storage compartment, it also acts as a stabilizing platform, allowing us to get just that little bit more stability in our gun for better accuracy downrange. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. You're probably here thinking, Mark, my brother in Christ, are you really here about to sing the praises of airsoft stocks versus real steel stocks? Well, yes, because there's actually a lot of merit to just airsoft spec stocks when building out your airsoft gun. Of course, it's great to use real steel stocks, and in a lot of instances, especially if you're living back in the United States, it's not even that hard to get a hold of one, no matter if it be due to price or availability. But many of us sadly do not live in the United States, so it's not that easy for us to get a hold of a Magpul stock or a SIG stock or BCM or otherwise. So in today's installment of What's the Difference, we're going to talk about just that: stocks. There are a lot, and I mean a lot, of stocks available on the market nowadays, and they come in all shapes and sizes. But today, I want to talk about a kind of stock that is getting more and more popular, and that is the folding stock. I could stand here and talk about the minute differences of materials and sizing and so on of your standard traditional stock versus, real steel stocks till the cows come home. But what I really want to highlight today are folding stocks. And the reason why I want to talk about folding stocks today is because if you look at all the super Gucci operators with their Gucci guns nowadays, these are the ones that they're going for. The real steel stock that we're going to be talking about today is this one. This is the SIG folding stock. It's very minimalistic and it mounts to basically anything with a Picatinny rail base. Now, again, why folding stocks? Well, these stocks have become so popular that you're even seeing traditional buffer tube style guns have folding stock adapters. Case in point, the Law Tactical adapter. But it would be totally remiss of me not to mention other guns that have been using this kind of stock for ages, like certain AK models and even the fan favorite, the Chris Vector. Now that we've established why we want to talk about folding stocks, let's talk about them. This one is SIG, and this one is made by us. At first glance, they look very similar and sport almost identical dimensions, which makes both of them exceptionally appealing when you put it on any gun. First, let's talk about the similarities. They operate very similar. The real steel one is literally lift and it folds out. With ours, there's a button that you depress and it then folds out. They're both mountable in the same way by a rear Picatinny rail base, and they offer about the same length of pull. The great thing about this type of system is they can also mount to other guns with rear Picatinny rail bases too. Now that we've talked about the similarities, let's talk about the differences, starting with the real steel one. Now, operationally, they're very similar. This one, all I need to do is fold out, and I'm good to go. Now, the length of pull on this one is just a little bit shorter than our LayLax stock, but what is the main difference is this thing is full metal. So when you really drive this thing up against you, you're not going to be worried about it breaking or snapping, because after all, this is a real steel stock. The last thing you want is for this thing to break and or snap while dealing with the concussive recoil of real guns. Now for our LayLax folding stock, operationally, again, very similar. There's a button here, press it, folds out and locks right into place. It does give me a little bit extra length of pull, about like ½ an inch, but that ½ an inch for me feels really good. It shoulders very nicely. Now, here's the difference. I mentioned the real steel one was metal. This one is high quality polymer. Yes, fancy way of saying plastic, but this is a very rugged plastic. While you can drive this into your shoulder, you feel very confident that it's not going anywhere. Well, okay, it may not be rated to deal with concussive recoils of real guns. Airsoft wise, it's really good. An added benefit is it's very light. It is actually much lighter than the real steel one. No, it's not gonna make any differences if I'm gonna be like, oh, doing bicep curls with this or anything. But what I am saying is though, every ounce matters, especially if you're playing long outdoor games or milsim ops. The lighter your equipment is, the longer you can carry it and the less fatigue you'll end up having. In the last episode where I talked about chest rigs, I made a mention to them being essentially all about the price. While price and availability does play a big part when it comes to items like our stocks, I certainly think there really is something bigger here. In the Bite Mag episode, I showed you guys my belt setup, which is a mixture between real steel and airsoft parts. A real steel belt with bite mags mounted on top of it. Now, I think that's the really fun thing about being in airsoft is we can use a mixture of real steel parts and stuff like this. Having a mixture of real steel and airsoft spec accessories allows us to really build out something that's truly ours without having to pay hefty prices. Now then we can take that little bit of extra cash that we have saved up to maybe upgrade something like our internals. So, at the end of the day, what are the differences between this real steel style stock and ours? Well, ours is made out of high-grade polymer and is a little bit lighter. This one, while a little bit heavier, it is full metal. So, which one would you choose? Let me know in the comments section below. And until the next episode, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. I'm sure we all have a friend out there where this could be helpful to them. And until next time, have a good one.